So Roy versus Harry, not in a fight, just in a battle for management. I think that this is Roy's his last job, full stop, before he
dies.
Wipes his ass.
Yeah. So surely it's going to affect him less than anyone else in English football there for the FA. Just fine.
I can't understand why in any way Harry Redknapp would be considered a better candidate than Roy.
No.
Harry Redknapp, if you were to say what he did well, in theory, he's a good judge of a player, relatively speaking, and he's supposed to be a good motivator, although he doesn't seem to be motivating very much at Spurs.
He's been relegated more than Mr. Roy as well.
Mm. He's been relegated more times than Stuart Downing has hit women.
Allegedly.
And scored Premier League goals this season combined times infinity. But the England players, the players are who the players are, so it doesn't matter who you can spot, because when Sven turned up, he picked Chris Powell, and everyone said, "Oh, I spotted Chris Powell." Chris Powell was shit and never played for England again.
Yeah, that's true.
So it doesn't matter whether you can spot a player, and you're not going to have to motivate them either, because you have to motivate them to play at the European Championships. They want to play. The point that Hodgson can do is organising inferior players into a team that is better than the sum of its parts.
Correct.
And get a result against better teams.
The problem with that is whether England players would accept that they are inferior.
Yeah,
that's a philosophical point you've just made there.
I don't think Frank Lampard thinks he's inferior to him.
Or whether they have any self-awareness.
The advantage that Redknapp has is that he can speak to morons, which is a useful skill in this job.
So about the press?
So,
what's a car window?
What's better? Is it either the ability to motivate idiots to an extent, or is it to be able to make a crap team better?
It's that. The players are motivated. All the idiots. You couldn't say that Steven Gerrard, John Terry, Frank Lampard, appalling people, but you couldn't say that they're not motivated. England don't do badly because these blokes aren't trying. They do badly because they're not as good as they're told that they are, or people think they are, and because they're not put in a team that gets the best out of them. And England aren't going to win the Euros, so what they should be doing is playing as many of the young players as they can. They should be playing Welbeck, Sturridge, Smalling, Cleverley, Richards.
This job is so short term in terms of how the press envisage it.
What, you think he's going to die?
He might die. If England do turn out to be shit, which is what people are expecting, the media are still going to use it as an excuse to slap him around the face with it, aren't they? So he hasn't, with their loss,
with Frank Lampard, with the Lerald Jampard midfield axis.
So he hasn't. I don't think he's really got that. He hasn't got that luxury, has he?
I think it's a good appointment, but I worry that one bad result.
Yeah,
the press are going to go for him because they all wanted their mate.
I don't think it's just that. It's just they've got to sell papers, and saying England achieved their potential doesn't sell newspapers either.
What next for Tottenham?
Tottenham apparently might be getting rid of Harry Redknapp,
which
will be hilarious
but
if
how
he ends up on the dole.
There's still the compensation issue, isn't there? Because they can't just sack him and not pay him.
Well, that's the thing, is Spurs would have thought that they were getting paid to get rid of Harry Redknapp.
Yeah.
And actually they're now going to have to pay to get rid of Harry Redknapp.
So they surely won't get rid of him.
I think they might.
Who would they replace him with?
Martinez.
Apparently,
Brendan Rodgers.
He's supposed to be top of the list, but replacing Redknapp with Brendan Rodgers is not lunacy, but Brendan Rodgers hasn't done enough to suggest he should be better. Moyes would be a better bet, I think.
It's actually, in a way, though, not that bad a season for Spurs, because they're still likely to get top 4, which at the start of the season they would have taken, even though they've had this terrible collapse since February.
Do you think Newcastle won't get it?
Well, Newcastle have to play Everton away, Chelsea away, City at home. It's a tough run.
Is that the order?
No, it's Chelsea away on Wednesday.
Is that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
We're recording this on Tuesday.
Man City at home on Sunday, and then the last game is Everton away. And they just got beaten 4-0 by Newcastle. Yeah. By Wigan, sorry. And whereas Spurs, I think, we're playing Bolton. I think that's tonight. So a fairly easy run in. Whereas Newcastle's pretty tough. But it's huge for Spurs to get it though, because otherwise Bale and Modric would probably go.
Modric looks like he wouldn't mind not being there already.
Bale as well. He's already starting to talk about it in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Why would Barcelona buy Bale?
Well, they need strength in depth in the wide position. But it's true, actually, the way that they play, Bale could play at left back.
Look at the Dani Alves comments about him a couple of weeks ago. in
that tapping up interview.
Yeah.
He's not an impressively clever man, though.
Alves or Bale?
Either of them.
Who is an impressively clever?
But
Yeah, it's a good question.
Who was the most impressively clever man in English football?
Roy Hodgson.
It's Mr. Roy, isn't
it?
David Weatherall has got good A-levels and was doing a chemistry degree, I think.
Brian McClare has got an A-level in chemistry.
Yeah, Ned Manuha also.
Clark Carlisle.
Yeah. He was just on countdown.
He was on countdown.
Yeah, Clark Carlisle's got autism.
Yeah, he's got, he is Rain Man. So Brendan Rodgers is not going to go to Spurs. That's the answer. What happens, right, if Spurs go on this run and they do get to the Champions League, the press are going to go mental again that Harry Redknapp hasn't got the England job. It's just going to go round and round like some...
But when he manages England, he won't have Modric, Bale, Van der Vaart. He's got a good team at Spurs, which he inherited as well.
That's the thing, is he turned up and said all the players are rubbish, what's going on? And then 5 minutes later was like, actually they're quite good now.
Yeah.
But he has got good players, and what he hasn't done is he hasn't used the squad at all. So because Spurs know that Spurs
getting
can't...
rid of someone like Pino in January.
Yeah, get that in.
He also hardly used Pienaar in the start of it, and he's a decent player.
Yeah, he's been brilliant for Everton.
Crankyard's hardly played because Spurs know that Spurs can't be trusted. So when Spurs are playing Blackburn at home, most of the better teams would rest players for that game. Spurs can't be trusted, so they have to play their full 11 in every game. And so it gets to this point in the season, and they're all knackered because he hasn't rotated properly. And
that's surely his fault.
Yeah. I mean, they let Corluka go to Leverkusen as well, saying, well, he should be allowed to play, whereas other clubs would be like, no, you'll sit on the bench until you're ready to play, and then you'll play.
Surely the England job, going back to it, is all about squad rotation in terms of a major tournament. Especially with Rooney not playing for the first 2 games. You've got to change your whole team setup, whether you like it or not, just because of one man. So therefore...
I don't know. There's an advantage in the qualifications, at least, that you can just play the same 11 injuries or suspensions
they just
aside.
pick the same team.
Yeah.
Most international sides during tournament.
And also, do you think
it depends how good you are? Like when Italy won the World Cup, they weren't any good. So he took Lippi took 6.
I tipped them.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Lippi took 6 strikers. The point being that we're not any use. So if you've got all these options, you're playing in tight games, and you pick different strikers depending on the opposition.
But they were probably all better than what England have.
Really?
Yeah.
Quinta, Gilardino. They're not necessarily better.
They sound better.
Yeah.
They've got good sounding names.
Yeah, Luca Toni.
Yeah, he sounds better than Darren Bent.
Yeah.
Sounds much better than Darren Bent.
He's surely not.
Massimo Macaroni sounded great back in the day.
That's not back in the day.
Sort of is.
That's like when you're on the bus and you hear like 13-year-old kids saying, back in the day.
Back in the day last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, true. But yeah, no, I still think that playing 6 games in however many...
It'll be 3 games. 3 years.
Yeah. But still, for any team, surely squad rotation should be a key factor. You've got a 23-man squad.
In the championships, it tends to only be one or 2 changes. I mean, I doubt Spain will change and Germany will change the team too much.
No. You'd anticipate the only changes you make would be tactical, if your players understood tactics. So it's not going to be a problem for England. So I mean, depending on how Philip Cocu's, where exactly he'll line up in midfield for
Where would
Holland.
you line up?
Well, Philip Cocu's special because it doesn't really matter where he's playing in the pitch, he's playing in every position for everyone.
So he's thinking for everyone else.
He thinks for everyone else, yeah. I mean, he's thinking for the manager a lot of the time.
He's my favourite human being.
Yeah. What kind of books would he read?
He'd write them.
He'd write them.
Yeah. But so tactics aren't going to be a problem for England. Injuries and suspensions will be the problem. And we only have we only have 2 players that actually matter, Rooney and Hart.
Yeah.
And Ferdinand, if he can be bothered.
England have got good players. I mean, they're players that aren't ready yet, like Welbeck and Sturridge and Jones and Smalling. But they're in 2 years' time, if they all get experience in this tournament, England could have a good team. I mean, they won't because they're England.
Pretty certain we were saying that about 10 years ago.
Yeah, we were. Golden generation.
That was still true then. It's just, I mean, it was true that they had potential.
Yeah, we always have potential.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we did in 2010. Did we have potential in that side? That was just a fart, that team.
No, but there's always potential. There's always talk of who's going to come in the future.
Well, I don't know. In 2010, I thought they were just finished and hopeless, and that was it. And I didn't see where.
Would just stop playing football.
Yeah,
That
exactly, definitely.
Better,
yeah, but now you can actually see where the improvement could come from, and I don't think you could 2 years ago. Well, I couldn't.
Yeah, but you're not a visionary like some people.
No.
So after after the European Championships, is this the last time in an England shirt for people like Lampard, Gerrard?
Yeah.
Scott Parker even.
Assuming they go.
Assuming they go.
Yeah.
Lampard's probably finished. I mean, Gerrard might stick around for a year or two.
So there's no point in using them for a few games in September for the qualification for the World Cup.
I'd keep Lampard around probably because he actually can play football relatively intelligently.
They're worth having
And
around.
Gerrard, I don't think. Gerrard, I don't think
you
can.
might have them in the squad, but you'd be looking to try and start because it's not just them. It's the style of football that you have to play. The way that you need to play is you need players that we saw this in the Manchester derby yesterday when City had the ball, their players ran towards each other, and that enabled them to pass around United. When United had the ball, the players ran away from each other, and that's sort of a more traditional English style of playing. And it doesn't really work anymore. And the players, like, you want more touch players, which is why, like, Cleverley, Wilshere, Welbeck are players who are great on the ball and understand how to play football in that style, and that's what you need England doing. And Gerrard and Lampard are not really like that. They're more players that will look up, try and hit the longest pass first, try and shoot from 30 yards all the time. And that's not the way that you're going to win international football tournaments if you look at the teams that are succeeding now. So there.
Yeah, no, that's a very good answer.
So there.
Yeah.
Can't remember the question.
We have to take we have to take out the laughing at our own jokes.
Yeah.
We can't keep
Quite
that in.
ramble, isn't it?
Don't say that.
Keep that bit in.
What next?
Who are we
Germany.
praying for?
All right, so who are we praying for? People pray for people a lot now. Who do we pray for?
Harry.
Pray for Harry. Pray for...
I'm praying for the rain down in Africa.
Yeah. There's a lot of rain here, we can just ship it over. But then we need it as well.
We do.
The drought.
Who's going to get relegated?
Sean Custis.
Just Sean Custis.
Blackburn, Wolves and QPR.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. No Villa.
It's looking like they've just got
I'd
maybe
sort
1
of
or
like
2
Villa
points
to-
too many. Also had quite bad luck with injury, like Collins, Dunn, and Bent losing basically.
Petrov as well.
Petrov,
Yeah.
like, losing all of those is not handy.
Was he given any money?
He bought Given, who was a
He
good
was
buy,
decent.
and I think he frittered the rest. Who else did he buy?
Nzoglia.
Was that it?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. It's a strange club. It's a boring club. Nothing happens.
It's a strange club that always seems to have English or British players cropping up like through the academy and the youth.
I think
They've got some good young players like Bannon.
Yeah.
That might
They
explain.
always seem exciting, and then we don't hear from them for a while. It's like they've gone abroad to fight in some war. We just lose touch of Mark Albrighton. He's still playing, but where is he? What's he doing now?
Didn't he retire?
Is he retired already?
How old is he?
It's just that's Villa. They just
I don't know. I think playing
force
for Villa,
players
they
into
start
running.
running
Yeah.
Shrapnel wins.
Yeah.
He did, however, score 10,000th Premier League goal.
20,000.
20,000th.
That's right. I hope that's not the only stat of his entire career that people remember.
I know it from the quiff. Yes.
This conversation surely proves that Aston Villa are just they are too boring to talk about.
Yeah.
So
We've proved it.
Yeah.
With a boring conversation about them.
Yeah.
yeah, let's not put this in.
So surely Villa deserve to go down for their. I mean, at least QPR are really entertaining off the pitch. No, you don't see documentaries made about Aston Villa.
The thing about QPR, I'm quite pleased to see the back of. It's a £53 ticket.
Yeah.
And that Tony Fernandes turned up, made a big play about how he was going to make it cheaper. He gave them a little bit of a refund, the home supporters, but 53 quid is not acceptable.
They are a boutique football club.
They are.
What does that mean?
It means that they're a small football
It
club.
means they're
where you
small,
have to pay
shit,
a
and
lot of money.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Barry Bannon. No, he's just small as shit.
He's not. He's good. I like him.
He's not. He just looks good.
No, he's good. He
He's
has
good
got
in theory.
like Scottish schemer, alliterative name,
Yeah.
ginger hair, like all those things.
It doesn't mean he's going to amount to nothing.
Well,
every McFly in the history of Hill Valley.
I hope something good comes from Aston Villa because we've tolerated them for long enough.
Dwight York?
At least we should have... Yeah, alright, Dwight York. Fine.
John Gregory.
Whose CV I have on my computer.
Do you?
That is not a joke. Yes, he managed in Israel, and someone I know was staying in a hotel, and he'd obviously stayed in the hotel and used the computer and forgotten to remove his CV from it. So yeah, I have John Gregory's CV on my computer.
Has he put in like typing skills and things like that just in case?
It doesn't have like so much of that. It also doesn't tell you an opportunity, like 3 occasions where he showed initiative.
Does it have like other interests or something like cooking or?
Yeah. Berating people for having depression.
Yeah.
Getting relegated.
We could probably, we could probably put this up on the
willing
to
travel.
So check the FCF.co.uk. John Gregory's CV.
Is it the FCF?
Yeah, maybe. Sorry.
So what's the FCF nowadays? Just writing stuff to antagonise people.
No, it's more of
surreal football.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I forgot you rebranded.
This is more of a kind of.
It's more cerebral.